This past Saturday, the WSU Cougars football team held their annual spring game out in the sun. At 3 p.m., the Crimson and Gray game kicked off here in Martin Stadium, and for the first time in 4 years, it had a normal format. In years past, they didn't have enough players at some positions, and so they played the game offense versus defense. But this spring, they fielded two separate teams. It was the first team offense and second and third defensive teams versus the first team defense and the second and third offensive teams. For the players, this is a lot more fun because it makes things more competitive rather than a typical offense versus defense format which is ran during practice. The game, which aired on Pac-12 networks, was in front of a few thousand rabid Coug fans, and boy did they get a show. But the game started out different than most might have thought. After a turnover on downs for Team Crimson, Team Gray came out fast with John Mateer hot in the pocket and a smooth drive down the field that would end up with a Javinski-Schlimbecker TD run. After falling to a 7-0 lead early, the Crimson team would never look back. Not long after Team Gray's TD drive, Cam Ward fired back for Team Crimson with a picturesque drive ending in a Jalen Jenkins 16-yard TD run. Over the next 2.5 quarters, Crimson outscored Gray 35-0, solidifying their lead. The connection between quarterback Cam Ward and receiver D.T. Sheffield proved to be Ward's favorite and something that will be seen a lot this fall. The pair combined for 3 receptions and 121 yards, including 1 touchdown that came off a 51-yard throw. Along with D.T. out on the perimeter, Josh Kelly, incoming Fresno State transfer, had a solid afternoon. He added 3 catches and 82 yards to his spring resume, including a 65-yard reception which proved to be the longest of the day for either team. Also, in just their second year in the offensive scheme, the tight end position is growing and amassed 6 catches and 135 yards on the day combined.
Really, the tight ends position has grown a lot since last year. They've been using us a lot more in the pass game, which is very exciting, and just more opportunities for us to make plays.
But it wasn't just the air attack that was on display. The pair of star running backs, Nakia Watson and Jalen Jenkins, both for Team Crimson, combined for 79 yards off 18 carries and half of the touchdowns on the day. However, the running backs room wasn't just those two. Jackson Sawyer for Team Crimson and Javinski-Schlimbecker for Team Gray each got a touchdown themselves and amassed 61 yards between the two of them. On the defensive side of the ball, there weren't that much action from the starters, mostly for injury prevention. Players like Brandon Jackson, R.J. Stone, and corner Shaw Smith-Wade only played 1 or 2 possessions. This allowed young players like Andrew Edson to step up and play a lot of reps.
Yeah, I felt good out there, got sacked there at the end, which I was proud of, and overall, getting that many plays, most reps I got here, so.
The leading tackler for the day was redshirt freshman Joe Taylor with 6 tackles, while 5 other players had 5 tackles apiece, and Chris Jackson stripped Carlos Hernandez early on in the game and created a turnover. At the end of the day, Crimson dominated the game, winning 42-14.
I thought it was solid. There wasn't a normal amount of negative plays. I don't feel like we had any pre-snap penalties, which is good. And negative plays were pretty minimal for a spring game with mixing teams, this, that, and the other. So I was really pleased with that. Obviously, we'll watch the tape and see where we went from there.
Overall, for a spring game, it was relatively clean. Only 2 turnovers for the Gray team, a minimal number of flags for either side, and 897 total yards of offense. If you're a Cougar fan, you can't complain about the performance from either squad, and you should be excited to watch the team this fall. And for the last time, reporting in Pullman, I'm Quinn McCarthy, Murrow News 8.